This is Daniela Markey, and welcome to another program in the series, Book Back Talk. Our guest today really needs no introduction. He is one of, if not the best-selling author of all time. My guest, John Pope Mitchell. Welcome.
Thank you, Daniela. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, John, first, congratulations on your new release, the novel, The Wrong Black Bag. It has already shot up the bestseller list and sits at number 1, just as your other 37 novels have been. Does it feel a little anticlimactic, John, at this point in your career to have yet another bestseller?
Oh, no, not at all, Daniela. It doesn't feel at all anticlimactic. It's still a thrill for me to see my new book reach the bestseller list, to know that so many millions of people still find my work interesting and are willing to go out and buy the book. No, it's still a thrill.
A sense of validation.
Well, something like that. All writers, Daniela, all artists for that matter, strive for recognition, acceptance, if you will. Those who say they don't are usually the unsuccessful writers, or just expressing some false humility, I feel. Maybe it's out of envy for those of us who are fortunate and lucky enough to be successful. I know that probably sounds arrogant, but I'm not afraid of being comfortable in my success.
And certainly millions of readers feel that you deserve the success.
I like to think so, Daniela.
The Wrong Black Bag, that title, is that a metaphor for anything?
No, Daniela, I don't believe in metaphors. I believe that those who write metaphorically are just trying to be obscure for obscurity's sake. The wrong black bag is just what it is, the wrong black bag. As you know from the book, the protagonist in the beginning mistakenly picks up the wrong black bag, and that leads him on a journey of treachery, of falsehood, and love, betrayal, reconciliation, mistaken identity, redemption, self-discovery, and ultimately death. But there are no metaphors in my books.
And while you're telling us this fascinating story, you include a handful, well, more than a handful of recipes.
Yes, I've included many of my favorite recipes. And with each new turning point and event in the protagonist's journey, he discovers a new recipe. As his discoveries become more dramatic, the recipes I've chosen become more elaborate. Kind of makes the book a little more useful, I believe, and more than just a novel to put aside after you've finished it. Books, I feel, should be useful, utilitarian.
This is sort of a theme in all of your novels.
I don't write using themes. Themes are for the self-important. My novels have no themes. But you are correct in that I've used this device before. The Cold and the Still had auto repair tips. The Last Song of Summer had useful information on embalming. Dust and Deceit had golf tips. I want my novels to be useful and not just fun to read.
And apparently your readers feel the same. You've certainly hit the right note with your audience.
Well, I just write the kind of books that I would want to read.
And millions of readers agree. You are the top-selling, top-grossing author writing today.
What can I say?
You have, of course, your critics.
Well, I guess that's inevitable. When you're as successful as I am, it goes with the territory.
Does it bother you at all, having these critics?
No, not really. I don't read reviews of my books, good or bad. I realized a long time ago you can't please everyone.
No, of course not. But some of the criticism has been, well, a bit harsh.
Well, my agent usually gives me, a rough overview of what the critics are saying, but to be honest, the only critic that I pay attention to is the public.
And they certainly give you rave reviews.
And it is very gratifying that they feel that way about my work.
But some critics have not been nice to your work.
Like I said, I don't read reviews of my work.
Of your latest novel, for instance, one reviewer in the New York Times says, and I quote, "With The Wrong Black Bag, John Pope Mitchell once again rams a stillborn piece of writing down the literary throat of America." Do you have a response to that harsh criticism?
Well, I certainly am not ramming anything down anyone's throat, Daniela. No one has to read my novels.
A reviewer from the New Yorker says, "As bad or as forgettable as John Pope Mitchell's other monstrosities have been, The wrong black bag breaks new ground in bad, but unfortunately is not forgettable. It gnaws on your memory like gangrene, festering and gets worse with time. This is pretty harsh criticism. Does this affect you at all?
Well, I guess it would if I wrote for the critics, but I don't. I write for the public.
A critic from the Washington Post states, John Pope Mitchell is not just the nadir of the written word, but the standard bearer for the death of writing. The Boston Globe says, John Pope Mitchell is not a writer. He is a murderer. He has single-handedly poisoned, strangled, suffocated, and stabbed the English language beyond recognition and left it bleeding on the steps of civilization. Tough stuff, John.
Well,
And this quote from the Publishers Weekly, where is the Ayatollah Khomeini's fatwa when we really need it?
Danielle, I really don't think that you need to.
The Wrong Black Bag is the wrong book by the wrong author at the wrong time on the wrong planet in the wrong universe. The Village Voice.
Daniela, excuse me, but I think
If you're lying brain dead in a coma, you will love The Wrong Black Bag. The San Francisco Chronicle.
Really, Daniela.
The Wrong Black Bag. Run from it. It is the black hole of literature. The Chicago Sun. John Pope Mitchell is to the novel what Attila the Hun was to Western civilization, the Atlanta Constitution. If there was ever proof to the end of civilization, John Pope Mitchell is it, the Omaha Herald. And finally, I cannot write a review of John Pope Mitchell's new novel because I could not read it. I turned away from it and wept the way we turn away from a tragic car wreck. It's just not right to look at it. The Phoenix Sun. And your response to all this, John?
Daniela, not all my reviews are negative reviews.
We looked for some. We couldn't find any, John.
But they are out there.
Perhaps.
My agent says there are a lot of positive reviews out there.
The Miami Herald says, will someone please kill John Pope Mitchell and us out of our misery? The Dallas News says, thank God for capital punishment. We just need to get John Pope Mitchell to Texas and on trial for murdering the novel. The Cincinnati Pilot stated, all copies of The Wrong Black Bag should be used to clean up oil spills. The Portland Daily, just say no to John Pope Mitchell and hatred of the English language.
I really don't think that...
The Denver Examiner says, we fed the wrong black bag to our goat. He died. The Albuquerque Dispatch, die, Mitchell, die. The Roanoke Gazette, I'm coming for you, Mitchell. The Des Moines Times, we know where you live, you blood-sucking swine. The Seattle Post, one word, Mitchell, death. The Toronto Star, we all have ice picks, and we're waiting for you, Mitchell. Well, that's quite a laundry list of reactions. Any response from you, John?
Well,
I'm sorry, we're out of time. Thank you for joining us on Book Back Talk. And I would like to thank my guest, the best-selling author, John Pope Mitchell. We look forward to having you on our show again, John. This is Daniela Markey for Book Back Talk. Until next time, good night, readers.